January 19th, 2024. So again, this was a really important game. The Lakers were coming into the game on I think, a two-game winning streak. The Nets had actually been, I think, 1-9 in the last 10 games. So definitely a game you've got to win, a game you've got to come out early and set the tone, and really to try to build some momentum. The Lakers have been utilizing a new lineup, so it's going to be important that they really try to work out some of the kinks there, really try to make sure that they've got a strong understanding of who they are and what they want to do. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the keys to victory for this game. So coming into this game, the Lakers over the course of the season had been doing very, very poorly in the first quarter. So it's going to be important that the Lakers win the first quarter, that they come out and really hit the Nets in the mouth quickly, come out really enforce their will. Um, the Lakers have a dominant team, particularly when you think about a team that's about going down inside and getting buckets in the paint. When they're really flowing in that area, they do very well. So it's going to be important that the Lakers come out in the first quarter, set the tone, and win the first quarter. The second thing is going to be this: the Lakers have gone with this new lineup, and I kind of call it their new offensive lineup setup. I'm not convinced that it's the best lineup. We may get into some looking at some of their other lineups, but it's clearly a move in a different direction. As you know, Coach Ham earlier in the year had gone with this lineup that was pretty much primarily all defensive players, guys that showed little offensive proficiency, and the Lakers suffered for that. And not even just in the games that they suffered, but I think it really disrupted the locker room. Because if I'm a player, I'm gonna have a real problem when I understand that we're playing in a league right now that's an offensive driven league, and you're playing these lineups that don't seem to have any chance of being successful. And we saw many teams how they responded to that lineup. In many cases, they wouldn't guard Vando, they wouldn't guard Cam Reddish. Um, so those lineups, in my estimation, really put them in a very difficult playing from behind position. So it's going to be important that the Lakers really come out and maximize the dominance with this new offensive lineup. Because with the lineup of D'Lo, Austin Reeves, Torian Prince, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, you've got a viable, dangerous player at every position. Now, again, we're going to talk a little bit more about, even though they're dangerous at every position, that doesn't necessarily mean that every person has an equal right to shoot the ball or to try to score. Because with a lineup like that, you still want to predicate your offense through Anthony Davis, number one, LeBron James, number two, D'Angelo Russell, number three, Austin Reeves, number four, and then finally five, Torian Prince. He should really only be taking catch and shoot threes or shots that avail themselves to him. He shouldn't be doing anything creative, anything where he's pounding the ball or doing anything. Everything should come through Anthony Davis, LeBron James, then D'Lo, then Austin Reeves. And I use that order because I think of just offensive generation, that those three that order gives you the best opportunities with offensive generation. So it's going to be very important in this game that Anthony Davis proves to be dominant. He's going to have to come out early, and I'm looking for a 30 and 12. I'm looking for him to impose his will on the inside. And then when you think about 30 points, Anthony Davis, we know Anthony Davis can come out and get 20 and a quarter or 20 and a half. But when you say 30 points, I think what's important there is that you're continuing to go back to Anthony Davis in the second half of games, because I think there's been games where the Lakers will come out early and they'll get Anthony Davis going, and then they'll kind of go away from him. But when you talk about a 30-point night, I think that's about really going out and being intentional about getting Anthony Davis touches and Anthony Davis opportunities to score the basketball. I would actually really prefer if Anthony Davis scored 35 points, but I think 30 points shows us that we're being intentional. And then we talk about the 12 rebounds. That's really about getting onto the glass. I didn't put assist on there because when I think of Anthony Davis, I don't think about him as a dynamic passer. With that being said, over the last two games, Anthony Davis has done a tremendous job of distributing the basketball off of double teams. So I think it's going to be important that we look at how can we maximize that. Number two, LeBron James has got to be LeBron James. LeBron James has got to come out, get 25 points. And those are really 25 points going downhill, putting pressure on the defense, 8 assists. because again, you've now got D'Lo, Austin Reeves, and Torian Prince surrounding him. So that's more than ample shooting. And you've got Anthony Davis somewhere on the court. So he's going to get a lot of one-on-one matchups, and he's going to get opportunities to enforce and impose his will as well. So again, with the 8 assists, that's just about getting other guys involved to really maximize the offensive talent that he has on the court. I think it's going to be important that he is assisting the basketball. And then 5 rebounds, just staying engaged, staying on the glass, just keeping him on his toes. So those are the first two major keys when you think about them offensively with this new lineup. And then finally, you're going to need a strong night from D'Lo and Austin Reeves, because we know that even with everything that we're looking at, if I am the Nets, just as I said, there was a hierarchy that I want LeBron James scoring. Excuse me, I want Anthony Davis as my, for the offense. If I'm the Lakers, I want Anthony Davis as my number one option. I want LeBron James as number two. I want D'Angelo Russell as three. I want Austin Reeves as four, and I want Torian Prince as five. Well, the absolute opposite is happening for the Nets. The Nets want Torian Prince to shoot the most shots. They then want Austin Reeves to shoot the next most amount of shots. They then want D'Angelo Russell to shoot the next most, and then LeBron James, and then finally Anthony Davis. So it's an absolute opposite happening, which means there's going to be some opportunities for both D'Lo and Austin Reeves to really make some things happen. So I think it's going to be very important in this game that D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves, when they're getting open looks, that they're hitting those shots, because they are going to definitely get open looks, because the defense is still going to lean and prioritize LeBron James and Anthony Davis as their primary targets. So that's going to create some opportunities for D'Lo and Austin Reeves to really get going. And it's going to be important that they come out the box hot and that they're hitting the shots that are available to them. Very, very important. So that gives you a sense of the offensive kind of game plan, if you will, in terms of things they need to maximize. The third thing is this: the Nets have an incredible bench. When you think about, there's two players on the Nets bench that I think could start for about any team in the NBA. You've got Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas is a cold-blooded scorer. He can score at all three levels. He's very dangerous. So it's going to be important that the Lakers can figure out how to minimize the impact of the Nets bench, because if you go starter for starter, I think the Lakers have clearly got a better team. But when you start looking at the impact that can come off of the bench, you can see very easily how the Nets bench could be problematic. Well, that's not even forgetting into an old Laker from last year, Lonnie Walker. So Lonnie Walker's a guy that can absolutely fill the basket up. He can shoot from range. He can attack the rim. He's a smart player. So he's another player that's coming off of that bench for the Nets that you have to account for, and you have to really strategize, ask yourself, how do we really defend those guys? And what's crazy is, even though those guys are bench guys, you may have to put some of your best defenders on them because of their ability to score the basketball. So again, that's the third key. The Lakers are going to have to figure out how to minimize the impact of the Nets bench. And then finally, the last thing is just that the Lakers are going to need a strong bench performance to counteract the bench performance from the other team. Even though, when I'm talking about a big game from your starters and you're talking about a 30 and 20, that's 50 points there, and maybe 15 to 20 for D'Lo and Austin. So that's maybe another 30 points. That's 60, 70, 80, maybe Torian Prince. So you're looking at almost 100 points from your starters for the Lakers, and that's quite a punch. But you know that the Nets can get up and down the court, so you've got to have a little bit of punch coming off the bench. And I prioritize Rui Hachimura. I said Rui needs about 10 points, 10 to 15 points. And I really focus on these guys because they are wings that have the capacity to go inside. Because I still think there's going to be some opportunities on the inside for the Lakers, even with some of their bench players. So Rui, I'd love to see him with a strong 10 points off the bench, a pressure-filled 10. One of the things Rui does a great job of is really playing downhill, putting pressure on the defense. And I think that when you can give that type of punch off the bench, I think it's going to be very, very helpful. He's a big physical guy, a physical player coming downhill. He's able to create. I feel like he's still got a ways to go in terms of some offensive creation. But he does have a good punch coming downhill and running the break, filling lanes and things of that nature. So Rui Hachimura, 10 to 15 points, I think will be important. And then finally, C. Wood. Christian Wood has got to kind of get back involved. I feel like over the last couple of games, they haven't really been maximizing his use. And as a result, you're just not seeing the type of productivity you'd like to. He's a guy that you've got to get 10 to 12 to 15 points out of. Um, and really try to maximize. He's a walking mismatch because if you've got a Christian Wood on the court, depending on who he's playing with, he's playing against the other team's third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. If he's coming off the bench, some of their poor defensive options. So I think it's going to be very important that the Lakers can figure out how to maximize Christian Wood. I've been an advocate that Christian Wood should start. I'm not sure I get a lot of support on that. When I look at some of the blogs where I've posted that, hey, I think Christian Wood should start, you get a lot of pushback, particularly in the area where they'll say, well, if Christian Woods is starting, it's forcing LeBron James to play more defense. And I would just kind of, again, my argument against that personally is just the idea that you tell Christian Wood, if you want to be on the court, I need you to guard threes, period. I need you to guard threes that allows LeBron James to guard fours and fives and all that type of stuff. But you just tell him what he's got to do and then put him out there to go do it. And I think that he's a guy that will step up to that challenge. Is he going to be the most elite three defender? No, but who really is? Okay. So again, very, very important. And then the last thing when we talk about that bench, if you've got the Vandalorian coming off the bench, it's going to be important that they can figure out how to maximize Vando's minutes by not allowing him to be a liability on offense. Because over these probably throughout the season, Vando has been a liability offensively. Teams have just left him unguarded, particularly when you just sit him out and have him standing out at that 3-point line. I feel like he's done some damage. I've been gone as far as to say if I'm a team guarding him, until he hits 5 threes, I'm not guarding the guy. I'm not talking about 5 threes in a game, 5 threes in a row. I'm talking about 5 threes, period. I'm not guarding the guy, right? So the Lakers have got to do a better job, and I think that they have, of figuring out how to leverage Vando, to maneuver Vando, get Vando position to make plays, not just standing at the 3-point line. So again, I think if the Lakers can focus on these keys to victory, it's going to put them in position to win. So let's go ahead and break down the first quarter. All right, so I think it's clear when we look at this Laker lineup here with D'Angelo Russell, LeBron James, Austin Reeves, Anthony Davis, and Taurean Prince, that it on paper seems to be a very proficient offensive lineup. I think that the lineup does offer you some opportunities to create some one-on-one opportunities for Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Those are my primary guys that I'm really looking to get one-on-one opportunities for. And really Anthony Davis, because I think that even though like statistically LeBron James is having a great year statistically, I don't think he's as dominant a player one-on-one as he has been in the past. Definitely off of screens and off of that type of stuff. But back in the day, there was a period of time where even without a screen, he was just so fast, so strong, so quick, he could get going downhill and really put pressure on you. So just looking even at the Nets lineup, I think it's clear that we've got some opportunities to really come out and to really put a punch on the Nets right from the beginning of the game. So let's go ahead and jump into action and break it down. So again, even as we're getting started, it's going to be important to try to get an observation early of like, are the Nets going to play one-on-one? Who's guarding who? And is this going to be some type of a zone defense? What are we looking at early so we can begin to predict kind of what's going to happen? So let's take a look at the behaviors of the Nets here. All right, I'm just going to pause it early because right away you can see some very, very important things that begin to give you a picture of what to expect. We can tell that we're going to be on one. Everybody's closely guarding their guy. That's important. Um, Austin Reeves out here on the wing, you can help to the paint, but he's not somebody that you can leave out here on the corner three. You're asking for trouble, right? So that's number one. D'Lo, same thing. You can kind of help to the paint. You can kind of lean in, provide a little bit of support, but D'Lo will make you pay um, from that corner three position. So again, already you can tell that the Lakers are going to be set up to have a lot of one-on-one action. That's and that's going to open some opportunities for pick and rolls, different types of things. But it's not a game where in the past where they have Cam Reddish on the court or they got Vando on the court where they're really playing 4-on-5. So we from the setup we can see that we've got a good game on our hands for the Lakers. Good opportunity to make things happen. Yeah, so I want to pause here, really just highlight that there's a clear advantage to the Lakers starting offense here, a clear advantage. So again, Anthony Davis coming out early, getting points in the paint, really setting the tone. When Anthony Davis hits his first couple shots, he normally really gets going. So I think that's a good sign that he hits that early first shot. For the Lakers, there's some things already that I think are emerging. The Lakers on a one-on-one defense, you can see with the Nets, they do a lot of pick and roll action. And in this case, sure, D'Lo's chasing, so I don't know what's going to happen here, right? But D'Lo's chasing. There's really very little chance that D'Lo's going to fully recover. But this guy, can he catch that shot and shoot it here? I doubt it. But you do have Anthony Davis that can give you some sink coverage here. So, right now that works with different players here. If they have the ability to come off of this and really shoot that, this would be a wide open jump shot. So again, think about that there. He was able to get downhill and get off a really nice jump shot, and there was very little that Anthony Davis could do. All right, I want you guys to see something very, very important here. So sure, pick and roll, everything seems just pretty much common sense. But here's the difference when you don't play Cam Reddish here, you don't play Vando here in the corner where Torian Prince is. Even though we've got a great defender here that sees action coming downhill, he really can't overcommit to get involved because he's going to give up a corner three, which allows LeBron James and Anthony Davis to run a legitimate pick and roll action here without the threat of other guys really interfering or getting involved, because around the 3-point line, you've got dead eye 3-point shooters that really put pressure on you at that level, which really allows some two-man action here, effective two-man action. And there's no better two-man action in the world than LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So again, look, no one is really able to come in and help. This is critical, gang. When you have the right lineup around LeBron and AD, it creates opportunities like this where you just don't have the ability to sink down into the paint and to provide that additional support. So again, it's just one play, but this is the type of stuff that we need to see now, because again, this is when you as a coach or an executive leader, you're not thinking about playing the game in front of you right here. You're also playing the game of the Western Conference Finals, the Denver Nuggets. You're playing to begin to set up patterns, habits, strategies that should be effective moving all the way throughout the course of the year. So great play. And there was very little that the Nets could do. Very little. Okay, so if you notice again, there's very little that the Lakers can do to stop some of this pick and roll action. So again, in this case here, Dinwiddie comes down, and he's immediately kind of getting some action off of Claxton here. And you've got Austin Reeves in a chase position. You have Anthony Davis here, who can step up and help, but if he does, then now Claxton's got to play at the rim, because again, the same situation. All of the Nets players, these are deadly 3-point shooters that do put a lot of pressure on you. So the exact same way on the other side, we saw the Lakers able to get off on that pick and roll action. If you notice the last two plays, the Nets have been able to play this action very well. And this becomes concerning already because if this is the Joker and Jamal Murray, this is buckets. Okay. So I don't know the solution just yet. I probably have to get a little bit more game action to see how can they try to disrupt this flow. Because if this is where we are already and it's just the first quarter, this is going to play trouble as the game goes on. So Austin was able to recover. So again, gang, it seems small, but again, when you're watching this stuff, you're not watching for what you see exactly in front of you. You're watching for behaviors, tendencies, and things that may be able to prove pivotal against a better team. So in this case here, very important. Anthony Davis one-on-one against anyone in the world is he has the advantage. Okay. So why is it that Dinwiddie or none of these other guys can really sink down to help Anthony Davis out? They can't because they got a dog that they're guarding. So again, who you put on the court around Anthony Davis puts him in a better position to be effective. So who you put on him makes a big difference. I hate to say, but if I'm Dinwiddie, I'm probably going to come and help out because Anthony Davis this close to the rim is dangerous. But he maybe can't because, D'Lo can run around, catch a three. You're still dealing with a high IQ offensive player and D'Angelo Russell. So you've got to respect him anywhere he is on this half of the court because he can pull up from logo. He can take it to the rim. So Anthony Davis is going to be left with one-on-one opportunities. Very important that you key into that now. Who you put on the court around Anthony Davis, LeBron James, those type of guys makes a very, very big difference. So again, gang, the Knicks really do it, and that's probably one of the advantages of having a young guy like this, like Claxton. He really sets deep picks. So what I mean by that is a lot of guys, even for the Lakers, whether it's Anthony Davis or it's Christian Woods, they'll set this pick, but they're so thirsty to get downhill to get a bucket, they're already rolling. Claxton sets a pick here that's so deep that it forces Anthony Davis to commit. Okay. So we can already see what's going to happen. When I say we can see what's going to happen here, Anthony Davis has fully committed. So even if I'm Claxton, or not Claxton here, but if I'm my man here and I decide to shoot that jumper, I know that Claxton is crashing the board. I may be able to throw a pass out here. So I think there's some options here. These are some very, very important things to note. But this defense of the pick and roll here is very, very, very concerning. Not for the Nets game. It's concerning to me because I'm thinking of the Joker and Jamal Murray running it. Okay. So I'm thinking of guys that are more proficient running this, and we're already seeing some issues that could prove problematic as time goes on. Okay. So a great play. So again, AD made a great play. But it doesn't negate the fact that that still in my mental computer is a problem. How they're playing the pick and roll seems to be a problem. What did I just tell you? I said Dinwiddie's going to have to follow that guy anywhere on the court because he's a danger from anywhere on that side of the half court. And he just proved it there. And I'll say this, I like that three that D'Angelo Russell took there. You have a fast break opportunity. You really want to punish them. And, you take that three. So good look, good shot. Let's take a look here. Was there anything that Austin Reeves could have done better defensively to make a play? Now, again, gang, this is awesome. I'm really liking this Claxton kid because if you look at every single thing that's happened so far for the Nets, win or lose, he's been involved in every single action. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Claxton has been involved in every action. They haven't won every one of the actions, but in my opinion, it's been about 60-40. His actions have been really good. Yes, the Lakers just turned the ball. Excuse me. Yes, the Nets just turned the ball over here in the last play. But when you think about the overall action, I thought they won the action. Okay. So again, here, you're going to get not just a screen, but remember what I said to you. He sets deep screens. He sets screens that will eliminate the defender that is guarding the guy with the ball. That's important. He sets screens that will totally eliminate the guy defending the ball. So now there's a liability to that as well, though, right? Because Claxton is so committed to getting his guy free that what it does is it doesn't necessarily put him in an advantage to get the pick and roll and some of that type of stuff, but it definitely gets his guy free. Well, why is that important? Remember what I said about the Nets? Yeah, right now this is Dinwiddie, but let's put Cam Thomas here. Let's put Lonnie Walker here. Guys that can do it. Like, so I get it. We just saw that Dinwiddie's going to hit this three. But I can tell you this, Cam and Lonnie, those are guys that would love that little bit of space. And they're gunners. They're going to shoot, right? So even though there's a low probability of pick and roll success, like, oh, they pick here and then he rolls to the basket because AD's still right here. But this, for elite scores, that's trouble. So again, every single play I've seen Claxton, he's been involved in every single play. I'm really liking his activity. I'm liking his action. And the Lakers don't really seem to have a solution for it. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure I have the exact solution for it myself. But the point is, this is a bucket with Jamal Murray. This is a bucket with, some of the guys they've got on their team. Okay, so again, not just about what we're seeing here, but this is trouble in terms of a pattern that we're starting to see. And it's a make or miss league. He was able to get the best contest that he could, and he just made the shot. So again, gang, this is really awesome because again, what we're seeing here is really isolation one-on-one basketball, right? None of the other Nets players are able to come and help out on LeBron James because the guy that they're guarding is such a strong, proficient offensive player that they're just not able to help off of LeBron. So again, LeBron, a lot of things he can do here. He can try to drive, put this guy under pressure. But again, at this advanced stage of his career, he's going to press and probably shoot some type of a jumper. Okay. But that's just because of where he is in his career now. Back in the day, he goes around this guy and dunks that basketball, right? But that's not who he is today. But either way, the more important thing is because you have the right guys on the court, LeBron James is left in isolation. 80% of the time in the NBA, I'm taking this one-on-one with LeBron James against anybody in the world. His patented fadeaway jumper rattles in, rattles out. Okay, take a look, gang. I just said this on the last play. All right, so when you look at this play here, some important things pull out. Remember what I said about Claxton? This guy is like really impressing me. Claxton has been involved in every single play offensively for the Nets. And remember what I said about how he sets screens that are so deep, it does put him at a liability of being an effective roller because you're still talking about Anthony Davis, one of the most elite defenders in the world. He's not creating enough separation to get free. And we see that prove true here. Okay. But again, remember what I'm telling you. Even though Claxton is not going to be an effective play because he's not creating enough separation, the separation that Dinwiddie's getting, you give that separation to a more elite offensive player, the same exact amount of separation, and he's going to get a bucket. He's not going to try to pass that ball to the rim. Okay. So again, this little bit of separation, gang, is already enough that with an elite offensive player, this is a bucket already right here because they have the ability to come off there, pull up and pop from right here. Okay. I've already told you that Claxton screens are so deep, so effective that it doesn't really put him in as effective a position to make a play at the rim, which is why Anthony Davis was able to recover here. But it's really more just strategy. Okay. Really more just strategy. Okay. And let me say this. I say this week in and week out. Anytime you force Anthony Davis to make a play, it leaves somebody else available to get the rebound. So anytime if I'm a team, if I can get Anthony Davis to provide secondary support, it allows somebody on the offensive team to make a play on a rebound. So in this case here, Anthony Davis makes the secondary play. Okay, the primary play is a lob come from Dinwiddie, but Anthony Davis has to essentially make the play here, and as a result, it leaves the offensive rebound available. Okay, so important. You got to ask yourself with personnel, different types of things. So again, you guys know that I'm a proponent. Like, sure, Taurean Prince, he's everybody's darling, but take Taurean Prince here and put in Christian Wood. Take Taurean Prince and put in Vando. I do think there are some different types of advantages that you can get maybe on the rebounding end. That if Anthony Davis does have to provide secondary support, you can still have a guy down there that's more proficient at getting rebounds. So again, all these things seem small in isolation, but when you look at just the big totality, you can see where it could be a problem. And that's just D'Angelo Russell coming down and putting pressure on the defense. He is an elite offensive player. He's and I say this week in and week out. D'Angelo Russell is a poor man's Steph Curry, and I say that because he doesn't quite shoot as proficiently as Steph from the 3-point line, and he is a poor man's Kyrie Irving. He doesn't shoot as proficiently at the 2-point area, but he tries to do a little bit of both. He tries to hurt you from the 3-point area like Steph. He tries to hurt you from the 2-point line, from the 2-point area like Kyrie with creative shots. He can get to the rim, all that type of stuff. Now, the difference is, and what I need to see from D'Lo is he's got to be more proficient. He's got to be, for twos, he's got to be over 50%. For threes, he's got to be over 40%. Now, here's what's really awesome about D'Lo. Over the last maybe 2 or 3 years, he's gotten a lot more proficient. Now, he's done that on fewer shots. So he's got to be able to be 50-40, but he's got to be able to do that on a 17, 18 shot output night. Okay. So D'Lo has to be more proficient with more opportunities. He's gotten more proficient, but the number of shots that he's taken over the years has gone down some. So I need him to be very, very proficient, but at the same time, do that at a higher clip of shot opportunities. All right. So again, we saw something again, some telltale stuff, gang. Okay. Let's take a look again. Who do you see? Okay. So again, who do you see? Who do you see? Who's going to create the activity? There goes your boy Claxton. There goes your boy Claxton. Claxton is the key to their offense. From what I'm seeing, on every single play down court, he's been at the cog of the action. Claxton has been the key to their offense. Okay. Because again, Cam Johnson is going to be free. He's just not as strong an offensive player to really take advantage of what Claxton has done for him here. But let's take a look again. So again, in this case, Claxton, this time he flashed a little quicker, but still the defense was enough to get D'Lo totally on Cam's back hip. Okay. And remember, this is not about Cam Thomas. This is saying if this is Paul George, if this is Kawhi Leonard, if this is Murray from the Nuggets, if this is, there's a lot of players that this is a walking bucket right here, that what they've created here, the separation is simply too much. Okay. Cam Thomas is just not Cam Thomas, but he's just not as proficient a player to really make something happen as well as some other guys are. So you're able to, kind of shut some of this down. But this, again, is a problem. This is a problem. Make or miss, that's not what I'm talking about here. Because we just saw he's going to throw the ball away. But what I'm saying is that this action is showing to be a problem. With the right player, with the ball in his hands, we've got a problem on our hands. And that's just Austin being Austin. Again, though, still something there if you're really looking. Why is Austin able to do this? Austin Reeves is able to do this because across the court, there's aggressive man-to-man coverage. Austin Reeves is an excellent one-on-one basketball player. If he's coming downhill, he does have a tight handle in spurts, like in certain situations. I don't like Austin Reeves bringing the ball up from all the way down on the other end of the court. But in tight quarters like this, Austin Reeves does a tight handle. If he can get past this guy here, he knows he's got no one at the rim to protect. So again, when the Lakers have the right guys on the court, it opens up opportunities for individual players to get off in their bag. Taurean Prince is the only guy I don't want to see ever try to get in his bag. He doesn't have a bag. He's not a good two-point shooter. He's actually, I would say, he's a liability. But everybody else, I think there are some opportunities. So again, I like this shot. So again, I'm looking for Claxton. He's the key. Wow. All right, there was a lot of information that just happened right there, gang. A lot of information that just happened. Okay. So again, key to the offense. It's your boy Claxton coming out here to set a pick. Is the pick effective? Yes. The pick is effective. Depending on who this player, if this is Kyrie Irving, he's just shooting the three here. So again, remember what I'm saying to you, gang. I'm not worried about the end. We saw the full action. We saw what happened. But what I'm saying is we got to pause and we got to ask ourselves, how do we defend this pick and roll action? They have not done it well this game at all. Forget about the score. The score doesn't tell me anything. They have not defended the pick and roll well, just based on our eye test. Okay. Because with certain players, this is a walking bucket right here. Okay. So he's downhill. He's downhill. And there's a number of things. So this time he passes kind of back out to the top. So a couple of important things I want to bring to your attention. Number one, Claxton is still creating a lot of disruption because he was able to get past his guy. Dinwiddie was downhill, sucks in two guys, really even D'Lo's down in the paint. So now he's able to kick it back out. But the point is, all of this action came off of Claxton. He was the key to tell you what was going to happen, and it did happen. Okay. So we just roll it out. Okay. Watch this, gang. Okay. So even in the play down here, Claxton did a good job of, again, people aren't catching this, right? Look what Claxton is doing here. So yes, he ended up passing the ball out. But what he did was he did a great job of sealing AD at the rim. Okay. Again, from right here, if he continues to come down, the right player is going to get buckets here. Why? Because Claxton is the type of guy. Look what he's doing. He's not worried about anything here. He's just sealing AD. That's it. Great play. Gang, take a look at this, please. So again, don't worry about the score. Don't worry about the score. Let your eyes tell you what you're seeing, and it's true. A proficient offensive player is scoring the basketball here. They're not going to pass this back out. They've got a clear path to the basket with Anthony Davis fully sealed. He's got to score the basketball here. He's got to score the basketball here, gang. He's coming downhill with Anthony Davis as a non-factor. Taurean Prince can't help because he got a dead-eye three-point shooter here. D'Lo is beat. Put a more high IQ basketball player. Gang, what we're seeing here is problematic. And I'll say this, man, I like Claxton. I like Claxton. I like his effort and energy without the basketball. I'm going to say it again. Claxton's effort and energy without the basketball is incredible. He gets very few touches, but in every single play, he's making championship plays, gang. Are you guys hearing me? Claxton is making championship plays without touching the basketball. He's impacting this game in a profound way. You take Claxton's efforts and you have better players here, you put the ball in Steph Curry's hand. This is a bucket. This is just a guy whose offensive proficiency simply isn't that high. Period. All right, let's take a look what we got here. And that's just a great play by AD. That's all that is. That's a great play by AD. Okay. Great play by AD. So again, Anthony Davis, that's a great play. Then what he did, what you got to do when you're playing against a great shot blocker. But Anthony Davis is just he's that good. All right, so a couple things here. I know they missed the shot, but I do like the ball movement here. I like the ball movement. There's been games here where Torian Prince shoots this shot, and I really don't like that because Torian Prince should never take any shots that are really taxing, like where it's really taking a lot out of him. He's got to get the ball to more proficient offensive players. So I really like the ball movement here. D'Lo was able to get downhill and get a shot off, and I'll take that. But just look at the movement here. This is good ball movement. Create some separation. Yeah, I'll take that. Wow, I like that stat. They said that the Lakers have been leading the NBA over the last five with 32 assists a game. So again, those are some statistics that you like to see. We know that that leads to winning championship basketball, so that's great. Again, even on this play here, gang, I just love it just because when you put good offensive players around LeBron James, good things happen. Just because he's always going to have an advantage. Anthony Davis is always going to have an advantage. So again, in this case here, got AD at the top, LeBron coming down. LeBron, just how we talked about with some of the other pick and roll action, LeBron has a free clear lane to the basket here. Okay. Because Claxton, for him to give any type of rim support, he's going to be in the threat of Anthony Davis being able to make some things happen. So again, great play, but this happens because of the players that are on the court. Again, sure, I see Bridges, kind of flirting with like he's going to help in the paint, but you can't come off of Austin Reeves, not with LeBron James with the ball in his hand. So again, having the right players on the court makes all the difference in the world. And that's one of the things that really disappoints me because as a Lakers coach, you've got to also be able to compute these things as well. You put Cam Reddish over here, they're not guarding him. You put Vando over here, they're not guarding him. So the Lakers have consistently put up lineups out that put LeBron James and Anthony Davis in a very difficult predicament. So again, that has to go on coaching. But again, at the same time, the fact that these guys are out here, I've got to give kudos to Coach Ham and the Lakers staff. So again, listen what I'm about to say, gang. Make or miss, I like that shot. Number two, I'll give you a secret reason why as well. Just like Anthony Davis, when you force Anthony Davis to be a secondary defender, what I always say, it leaves the other team open for offensive rebounds. So even though LeBron's taking this shot here, and it looks like a difficult shot, but I mean, this is a guy that's been in the league 21 years. He's got a lot of touch around the rim, and he has a lot of creativity around this area. Either way, it still puts Anthony Davis in position to finish around the rim with a clean offensive rebound. The same way we say when Anthony Davis has to provide secondary support, it opens up offensive rebounds. The same thing happens here. You see Claxton coming out. Oh, that was pretty interesting there, gang. Something very interesting just happened there. Okay, so you're gonna come up and you're gonna see Claxton do Claxton type things. Okay, watch this. Okay, so remember, Claxton's the cog to the offense. So there he goes. Austin Reeves was able to jump the screen, but then still stay skinny and get back in front of Dinwiddie. And I'll go a step further. With how AD's playing it, there's no threat of Claxton in his mind of being a pick and pop threat, right? So this type of defense probably won't work against the Joker because the Joker will pop right here and be able to shoot and hit this three-pointer, right? But against this is probably the best way to do it. Austin Reeves aggressively fights over the pick here, and AD's just standing there to cut off any type of activity for him with the ball. And it just totally disrespects Claxton. But if you're going to disrespect somebody, he's the guy to disrespect, to be honest. Okay. So nothing there. We reset, try it again, same thing. And again, look at that, man. This guy, Claxton, man, unbelievable. Unbelievable. So he's responsible for the action over here, comes over here, gets action going on this side. And then just like that, he can get, the foul on Taurean Prince. But again, I love his activity without the ball. Now, they just said something pretty important. They said Cam Thomas, the ultimate streaky player, is coming to the game. Cam Thomas can go for 50. Cam Thomas can go for 5. Now, if he becomes more consistent, he's a scary guy. With his ability to put the ball in the basket. If he could just do it more consistently and at better efficiency, he becomes a guy in this league that becomes trouble. Okay. But again, with the team on the court, the Lakers have one-on-one action. So here goes Anthony Davis on a smaller guy. So again, you would want to say the Lakers have the advantage. Yep, there we go. Brian, and I'll say this: there's too many times for the Lakers, if you watch tape on them, when Anthony Davis has the ball and they trap him or they put him in difficult predicaments, no one moves. People just stand exactly where they are and just think that Anthony Davis is going to be able to do something with that. You've got to move and give him, like flash to the ball. Just like in football, when the quarterback's under pressure, everybody comes out of their play and scrambles and tries to get open to come back to help the quarterback out. The same thing. The Lakers, a lot of times, Anthony Davis will be in trouble. Guys don't scramble. Guys don't make any movements to try to get free to make sure he can get some a relief valve to get the ball out. So again, the late trap, you're in trouble. Poor decision. And let me just say this to you, gang. Okay. Let me just say this to you. Cam is a cold-blooded scorer. Okay. So not a lot of space. But with Cam, this ain't even Claxton setting the screen here. This little bit of space, you're in trouble. Because the defense here is solid. The defense there was pretty solid, gang. But again, you saw Claxton come up there to help out. But again, that defense was solid. It doesn't take a lot of space for him. That was a good shot. Okay, that was a good shot. I like that shot for Taurean Prince. That's just an incredible move. I don't care who's on him. That's just an incredible move. Better offense than defense. I have no problem with anything I just saw there. That's just great offense. And Reeves comes down and gets it back. So just great offense. Both squads, I think, were doing a great job, but they just came down and got a better play than they made on defense. Again, that's just great offense. Now, this might be my only question I would ask, right? With a guy like Cam Thomas, is he, in particular, when you see him come out and hit those three big shots like that, 8 points in the last minute, you have to ask yourself, is he the type of guy that you almost have to keep the ball from even getting to him? You play denial on him and force the other team to try to force it to him, really disrupt him. But once he gets the ball in his hands, he's pretty much a walk-in bucket. So I think you've got to have a strategy to keep him from even getting the ball. All right, gang. I just noticed something that I had noticed before. And I apologize. Okay. Remember what I told you guys about how to beat the Lakers? Okay. Matchups matter. If I'm playing in a game with Vando, and I've said this all the way back to Boston showed you the blueprint. So there's two teams that have shown you how to play against the Lakers. The Thunder have shown you how not to play against them. The Boston Celtics showed you how to play against them. What the Boston Celtics showed you was that you put your most elite defender on Vando or Cam Reddish or one of those type of guys. Okay. Not even just your most elite defender. I think that's not even exactly the way I want to put it. You put your most elite vertical defender on those guys, because what it allows you to do is to allow them to roam as a shot blocker at the rim. Because I was kind of wondering, I was like, well, man, why is AD keep having this smaller guy on him the last two plays? I thought it was just like a broken play or something like that. But it's because Vando's in the game. When Vando is in the game, Claxton or whoever the big is now going to rotate to a different capacity. They're now going to play on him and just be a support extra body to give some additional support at the rim. So don't worry about the score. Remember, like I said, the score doesn't tell you the whole story. Okay. The last couple plays, I've noticed that things have seemed like it's kind of bogging down a little bit. And this is kind of why. Because you got Vando in here. And yes, Vando can get buckets, and hindsight's 2020. So I know that Vando had probably his best offensive game that I've ever seen him have. Just a really good offensive game. But it doesn't matter. It's creating, look at the level of respect right now. You've got, I think this is Cam Thomas here. And I can't tell if this is Giles or if it's Claxton, but it doesn't make a difference. The big, they are totally uncommitted to Christie or to Vando, which allows them to key all of their energies on Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is not a great passer out of the double team. Okay. So let's just see how this plays out. And they got, I think, an illegal defense called on them for doing just what I said. All right, now watch this, gang. Watch this. Even on the make, you still saw something, though. You still saw a deficiency. So watch this. Okay. So even on this play here, here's Vando's guy right here. So I think this is Giles. He just got called, the illegal defense called on him. The only mistake he makes here is he just doesn't commit to give Anthony Davis like real support. He's kind of deciding, do I want to or do I not want to? But Anthony Davis one-on-one, that's a bucket. But he doesn't give the support that he should. If this is the Boston Celtics, this was Kristaps Porzingis, and he gave the support that was necessary to help provide the support on Anthony Davis. For whatever reason, he's not committing. So watch. They should trap Anthony Davis here, but he doesn't. He doesn't because he sees Vando kind of crash. I would have still trapped Anthony Davis better. And why I say that is because Anthony Davis is not the best passer out of the double, and Vando's not the best finisher out of the double either. So I would have committed more resources to Anthony Davis and then force Vando to beat me. He doesn't seem to be as proficient around the rim as he should be. Now that's Christian Wood right here. That's a different story. Man, this guy is special, gang. Claxton is special. He's involved with everything. So watch this here. When we look at the team on the court, we pretty much know we want to get Cam Thomas the ball. He's the offensive generator in this group. Well, something, and he's hot. Well, something that stands out is finally the Lakers have got Vando on him. And look at Vando. He's playing denial. He's like, man, I'm not even going to let Cam get the ball. Okay. Up to this point, we've always seen Claxton or Giles or whoever it is um, provide pick and roll support on the ball. Look at this pick and roll support to try to get Cam Thomas free. Look at that game. So now Vando's here, off the ball, getting Cam Thomas free. This is incredible. Okay. So then Cam shows a flash screen on Austin Reeves, which now means that these guys have got to reset. But watch what happens. Boom. Watch this, gang. Now I've got Austin Reeves on Cam Thomas. Austin Reeves is my worst defender on their best offensive player. Who was it before? Before it was Vando on Cam Thomas. And even if Cam has the quickness, Vando's got the length, just the skill, the expertise to be a little bit more disruptive. So all of this movement we saw up here, gang, got the Nets exactly what they wanted, which was Cam Thomas on Austin Reeves. What's going to happen? It doesn't even matter at this point. What happens from this point does not even matter. The Nets have won this possession from this point here. Set the screen. So again, just things to consider, gang. All right. So I mean, I kind of glossed over the turnover, but the turnover wasn't by accident. Look at where the turnover was generated from. Okay, a couple of things that are important here. Sorry about that, not catching it right well. Okay. So this is not by chance, gang. Even though he doesn't necessarily make the play here in the middle, he's able to be in the middle because of Vando. So again, you got to play Vando, right? But because Vando's in the game, it now creates a situation where you've got almost a 7 foot or definitely 7 foot wingspan in the middle of the court, just using his length. So it doesn't seem like it's directly related, but it is. It is. Okay. It is. Because ordinarily, right now you got one ball handler on the court, which is D'Lo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got no other like secondary ball handlers. So D'Angelo Russell has to quote unquote try to make a play, right? But really, this ball should not be going in. The ball should be getting flashed up to the top, and there should be some action up here. I like the Lakers better when they've got two ball handlers on the court. Okay, Max Christie's not a ball handler. Nobody else on this court right now, other than D'Lo, is a ball handler. Okay, but this ball should not be going in here. It should be being flashed out here to Anthony Davis, and there really should be another guy here that can also handle the ball. But because Vando's in, his guy's in the middle, and then you're just trying to do things that really naturally you shouldn't be doing right here. So again, watch. Things are in front of you, but when you're watching the game, you're not seeing it. But watch, this is all right in front of you. Watch, it's all right in front of you. Okay, so Who's sprinting down the middle of the court? Giles again. Why? Who's this guy? Vando. So I don't even need to figure out where Vando is. He's not great around the rim. He's not great from three. He's not great anywhere. So I am literally a help defender. Okay. I am a help defender if I'm playing Vando. Okay. So watch what happens. We don't have a secondary ball handler on the court right now. So every time you put a play into a guy, that guy now has to essentially shoot or do something with the ball. Because there's only one creator on the court, that's D'Lo, way out here. So if I'm Rui and I get the ball here, Rui's not a guy that's designed to like put the ball on the court, do all this fancy stuff. Like that's not what he's designed to do. Okay. So how is some of this possible? Because Vando's on the court. So here's Giles. He is a elite enough. He's got over 7 foot wingspan. He's able to help. He's tall and he's able to create disruption. He's running free. You got the ball in Rui Hachimura's hands. Rui is not a creator. Rui is a shooter and a scorer. Okay. But he doesn't have the play here. So naturally, he's got to try to figure out how do I get rid of the basketball here. But I don't have a lot of other ball handlers. Because again, if he's getting the ball here, he's either should be shooting, scoring, doing something. But there's extra defenders that are on the court right now because of Vando's presence on the court. And this is how you play against the Lakers when Vando's on the court. And again, he can punish you. He can I'm going to let him prove it before you're going to win the majority of possessions over the long haul. Okay. So let's take a look. So again, seems like an easy pass back out to AD. But it's back. So look, what's the point? There's no real advantage here. Okay. My man here is strong. He's got an incredibly strong base. There is no advantage here. So the ball should not be going back into Rui Hachimura again. And Royce O'Neal is not going to let you just pass it back out here to AD again. You have no advantage. You're actually double teamed because you remember Vando's guys not being guarded. They're not even guarding Christie at this point. Okay. So what does this tell you, right? There's a lot of things that this tells you. We saw with the starting lineup, every single player on the Lakers had to be respected. Okay, so here's what this tells me personally. For whatever reason, they're not guarding Max Christie, to me, at the level that they should. So I need a better player here. Vando, they're not guarding him, period. No one's really worried about Vando. So I need a better player here. Rui, they're bringing the help because, Rui is a tough matchup. Or he can be a tough matchup because he can create space and get off a decent jumper. Because you guys think about Rui, one of the things he does pretty good is he can bump, and then create space to get his jumper off. And that's fine. Okay. But you ain't going back here to AD again because Royce O'Neal's not going to let that happen again. He realizes you're limited in your options. You got Giles down here, secondary help defender. So I'm going to try to play the AD passing lane if I can. And then he just gets the ball stolen from him. Because he's not he's not a creator. So they just messed up, but. So just watch, gang. Great shot. Yeah, there's 2-man action there. And that's your best action that you're going to get. And that's just a tough shot still. It was a wide open shot. But outside of that, you're not really getting any advantages out here. Okay, so watch this, gang. It's still important to see. I get it. He hit the 3. Okay. But don't worry about the fact that he hit the 3. Let's worry about who's doing what. Okay, watch this, gang. This is incredible. Christie's just sitting out here. His guy is way over here. Giles is just a help defender. So the schematics that the defense is employing right now is totally different than when the starters were in the game. So you've got to be able to ask yourself right now, this lineup is not going to work against this team. Even though they're about to hit a 3, the lineup's not going to work because it's taken a lot of force to be able to score here. Okay. They're not guarding Christie for whatever reason. And who knows? I bet you if we look at the scouting report, we might know that the Nets might know that he doesn't hit threes from this side of the court as high as he does from the other. It seems small, but the Nets may know that, right? But the point is, right now, they're just clogging up the paint. This lineup is not effective because it's taking too much energy to get a bucket. Too much energy to get a bucket. Okay, so you gave up a three. Yeah, wide open three. They're taking AD out. That's their top priority. And they're saying anybody else can just beat me. All right, that was impressive here. Watch this game. You have your best defender on him. You have your best defender on Cam. But again, you said a little screen. That's all he needs. That's all he needed. That was all that he needed. So again, let me say this to you, gang. Every effort and energy right now with this Cam Thomas kid in the game is about getting him free. So he is now their primary offensive player. So I'm going to say it again. Cam Thomas, the offense is telling you he's their primary player. Every pick, every screen is set for him, whether he has the ball or he doesn't. So you've got to now re-strategize and say, okay, the same way they're trying to take AD out of the game, I need to take Cam Thomas out of the game. Because they're trying to do everything in their power to get him the ball. I don't know how good of a passer he is, but I'm going to find out. I'm not going to just let him keep scoring on me. They are doing everything in their power to get Cam Thomas free. So you need to do everything in your power to neutralize him and force him to make plays other than just making baskets. All right, so watch this, gang. This is just there. Okay. This is there because they're not really guarding Christie, giving him the respect. And I can't say that he deserves. There's not a lot of tape on him, but last year I thought he shot the ball over 40% from three, did a good job, right? So let's just watch. Let's watch. So in this particular action, so yes, they set a little screen here for Christie, but I'm not sure that really makes all the difference. Cam Thomas just seems to be offensively minded. He don't really seem to be super engaged when he's on the defensive side. But let's just watch here. Okay. So, Cam gives looks, but he doesn't really, he seems to be just more, just not engaged on his guy. That's been two plays in a row. And then again, Rui, I think he's a dangerous 3-point shooter from here. So with the way everything is set up here, gang, I do believe Rui is an effective player here. And I do personally believe that Max Christie is an effective player from here as well. Okay. But right now, if you look at how the defense is really oriented, it's really more oriented to defend the paint. So you're going to have to hit shots. And D'Lo made a great play here. He purposely pressed the middle. Cam flashes way too far in. Like Christie's not a 40% 3-point shooter. And I don't think he's shooting as well this year, but like I said, on limited opportunities last year, he shot very, very well from three. And this has got to be something he's just in practice that he's doing. He's hitting threes at 60, 70% clip wide open from these different spots because these shots will avail themselves in the game because you've got a D'Lo, you've got LeBron, you got guys that are going to require guys to help because they should be able to get past their primary defender. So again, I can care less about the fact that he made it, but I'm really studying more to see what the defense is doing and what's available. I like that. Gang, already I like that. They trap Cam Thomas and now force him to be a passer. Okay. But Cam Thomas is such an aggressive offensive player that, his brain's still trying to compute. Do I have a play? Do I have a play? And that's taking time off the clock. So I like that. I like trapping him, and it opens up some opportunities for him. How good of a passer is he? And then can these other guys beat us? Yeah. Like I said, that's what I want to see. Cam Thomas is the guy everybody on the Nets is standing around watching score. So force somebody else to beat me. And if they do, they do. Again, great play there. I like the look here. What do we notice? What do we notice? Max Christie just hit a three, so he's got to protect. He's got to really guard over there tough. You got Austin Reeves on the court. You got to guard tough. You got Rui from the corner. That's a shot he could hit at a high level. So you got one-on-one basketball, pick and roll action here. Just by changing Vando out, it's opened this activity back up again. Okay. So again, I'm not knocking Vando. I think, like I said, I think he's an excellent player. And you've got to get a little bit more out of him offensively and just figure out how to utilize him. But the defensive behavior is different the moment he leaves the court. So we're coming downhill. And you just got to take it. That if you look at that, there was never that much separation either way. Like D'Lo never really got a lot of separation. AD never got a lot of separation. So that was going to be a tough play at the rim. So again, they say like, well, what are our telltale signs coming out of that first, coming out of the first quarter there? I think there's a few things that really stand out quite a bit. And those include the fact that, when we look at what were the keys to victory, number one, we were very particular about the fact that the Lakers had to come out that first quarter and really win the first quarter. They did that. We said that AD and LeBron are going to really have to enforce their will. And for the most part, they're kind of getting active. They're doing some of that stuff. We said D'Lo, Austin Reeves would have to make some activity happen. Somewhat okay. We said that, we would need to see some activity from like trying to minimize the bench players from the Nets. And I can say they did that to a certain extent, but you got to realize that Cam Thomas is their go-to. So if it's me, I'm just trying to trap him, force other guys on that bench to beat me. I don't think they did a great job on that. Looked like they did do a great job on the last play. And, so right now you're up big. And I think there's some things here that as the Lakers that you can really be happy about.